Well, what's the crack, everybody? How are you getting on? Welcome to another Buckshot, episode 198. We're nearly there. We're nearly there, everybody. You're all very welcome. It's Friday the 27th of August 2021. Or if you're a patron, you would have gotten this last night, along with the video. Yeah. So that's the benefit. Shout out to new patrons. Jane, Ollie, Justin, Mark this week. Powerful. And major shout out to the few patrons that just decided, out of pure soundness and the goodness of their heart, to up their contribution, because they're 110% sound. Now, a crack to anybody who didn't hear the Patreon one last night or came along to the legends, one and all of you who came to the live show on Sunday last over in Galway. What an absolute fucking banger of a show. A bunch of people have been weirdly messaging me as if I wouldn't record it. They go, did you record it? Are you gonna? Oh, of course I am. We recorded it out the hoo-ha. We'd 5 or 6 cameras on it. Obviously, audio-wise, we had a sound tech recording the whole thing. Yeah, it's all there. It's all there. Thank Christ. There's nothing like that. You're driving back home with it, you know, in the car, in the boot of the car, and you're going, fuck it. I hope that is fucking. It's all there. We've all the footage, the whole lot, and I'm going to put out a couple of snippets to the general public in the way of the video, but the full video will be available in the next. I'm going to wait till it's right, because obviously we've 199 to come out yet, but I'm going to put the video and audio out early to the patrons, and got a bit of a teaser trailer of the. So if you want to, even if it's only for a month, jump on. I think they are actually offering year-long ones now. You get 2 months free or something like that. So if you do feel like it, jump on over, become a patron, and you'll see the crack. You'll see what it's all about. You'll see that, you know, you get free videos of the, you know, of all the stuff. You get ad-free stuff. I'm explaining nothing here. I'm just saying stuff. The shows, for Christ's sake, Tom, get your head together. It's hot as balls outside, and I just came inside. Thankfully, the studio is nice and cool. Shout out too to the patrons for paying for the studio. So yeah, I'm going to do a live Zoom bit of crack gig with the patrons on, I think the 5th of August. No, 5th of September. Christ above. 5th of September. Probably about 7 or 8 o'clock. We get a couple of drinky winkies in, and we have a banter. I normally pick a subject of some sort, and then, or suggestions from the patrons, and we all just jump on, have a drink, and it starts out with that, but I don't record it. So it's just leave it loosey-goosey, so everybody can just, like a proper chat down the pub. Do you know, where nobody's recording shit or Googling anything. Do you know, old school. So that's the crack with the patrons. You know, there's a merch page too. Go have a gander through. If you follow me on any of the socials, there's a Linktree thing there. It's called Linktree. It's a very smart thing. All your things that you have, you know, that you're connected to, you can just put it in one place in your socials. So have a gander in the bio. Thank you very much to everybody who's been getting in contact with the Tom and Jerry show. Brilliant. Loving that people are loving it. There's another one out, completely different than the first 2 episodes, this Monday. And obviously we have bonus episodes out. I think Mike Sheridan was yesterday's one, from entertainment.ie/show.ie/buzz.ie. He doesn't work for anybody who doesn't have a .ie, essentially is what it is. But hell of a sound fella. He was actually, I think, yeah, he's been on the podcast with me here, but he gave us the worst gig ever for his Thursday bonus episode of the Tom and Jerry show. So go subscribe to that as well. Jerry with a G. Monday morning it'll be out with another one that is a lot of people will be into it, but we couldn't find too many people that had done anything similar, you know, exactly like we did it. So I'm glad we got an odd one out. Right, that's all that stuff out of the way. You know the crack. Follow me, and Alex, you know, if you follow me on the socials, I'll keep you up to date on everything. So you may as well go over and become a patron. Even if it's only for a month, you'll get the video. But I would suggest staying for longer. The crack doesn't stop over there, you know what I mean? I put up a lot of stuff that regular folk won't get their hands on. Right, moving on to today's guest. I met properly for the first time today's guest when we were gigging in Limerick in the lift in lockdown last summer. Hell of a good comedian and right good crack. It was just great fun, and has done very well. Has become an actress now as well as a result of, as she would suggest herself, it just happened. Like, things don't happen. Very, very talented and very, very fun. I had a great time hanging out with the mighty Sinéad Quinlan. Sinead Quinlan. I know. I don't know
Hello.
what we were actually just talking beforehand. I don't know why I do that from time to time, like as if we just literally turned on Zoom and
Yeah,
the audio.
we go from the get-go.
Yeah. How did you get a fada on your E? I'm just looking at out of nosiness. Like, how did you manage to? Did you copy and paste it out of someplace?
You do, is it you click option on the
Oh,
keyboard and that'll do
oh.
it. Yeah, yeah. I
Well, but
googled it once because I'd be very particular with my fada. Do you know what I mean? If it was
I
left out, I'd actually be a bit odd.
I purposely, I was actually pointed out to me the other day. I was replying to a woman called Roisin, and whatever way I knew in her email there wasn't a Roisin, there wasn't a fada on the O, but somewhere else I saw she'd sent me something, a script or something before, and there was a fada on, and I went fuck, and I googled, and I had to copy and paste the fada. I'm pretty sure it wasn't a fada; it was probably some Arabic,
Yeah.
flick. But she actually
All
commented. She goes, "Oh, sound for that sound."
I know. I like it. Like it does change the name. I think it's like otherwise it's like Sinead. You know what I mean? Like, who's that? It's not me.
Yeah, I'm just looking
Yeah.
at it'd be Sinead. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're 100% right. And being a Cork person, you're not pushovers for your names either. Like when it's Cork,
I
people are quite
know.
staunch. I lived there for 8 years. Like, I mean, that's where I got my level of ignorance from. It was just, I was easy.
Oh yeah, here we go now. We're not even on 2 minutes.
Now I know that was, if ever there was a backhanded kind of just, that's a compliment, but not really. No, it is it absolutely is a compliment to me. I use the word ignorance for all sorts of, I'm ignorant of the correct use of the word ignorant. That's what I am.
Yeah, me too.
We completely overuse
I think
it.
in English, Sinead is Jane. I'm like, I don't think I like that. I don't look like a Jane, I feel.
What? No.
Yeah.
Is it?
Jane, yeah, crazy.
That's a big jump, like, isn't it?
I know. Like, it's probably the old plain Jane thing. Do you know what I mean? Did bad things for the Janes, like.
I like it because Sinead is like actually now that you like when you
it's like it's like the name Karen is ruined forever as well. Do you know what I mean? It's like such a Karen. Yeah.
What's the male Karen? Because there's obviously plenty of male Karens. You know, the dose, like that'll be just
I actually don't know.
Would it be Kevin?
I think it's Tom, is it?
Fucking easily could be. It easily. My name was utterly ruined in my own eyes. Like all I ever knew was Toms were just like Tom, same as John's. They were just normal bloke names. Yeah. Like, and then I was in Edinburgh one year, and my room was straight across the way from these really, really posh, like wealthy middle class lads who were doing their whole show through the medium of ukuleles. I mean, you could hear their show every day coming through the fucking wall, and all I wanted to do was bust all their ukuleles. And out of the 5 of them, 3 of them were called Tom. I was like, oh, that's...
Oh, stop.
One was called Tiff. One was actually called Tiff. And I don't honestly know the other, but 3 of them called Tom.
Like, something beginning with T as well. Seems to be criteria for the ukulele band.
Yeah, Tarquin, I would say. Most likely Tarquin. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Are you okay right now? Because I understand you're not actually in the county of Cork. Are you okay? Like, is there any medication you're taking?
Like I am on meds, and I have an inhaler with me. Do you know what I mean? The altitude is different. I
love that the inhaler isn't actually for asthma. It's actually got just essence of Cork. Like,
oh my god, yeah, I love that. Do you know what I love about Dublin taxi men? I think they're hilarious. It's the funniest thing ever.
Did they all have a story about Cork?
Yeah, they all have some story. Like, oh, they're just so funny. Just, I don't know. I just love their character, sense of character. They were telling you mad stuff, like.
And it seems to be, I found, like, if you get them during the day, great, the warmest characters you'll ever meet. But the later through the night you get, you're kind of trying to steer them away from saying racist stuff. Basically, is what I found.
That's taxi men in general, isn't it?
Oh, no problem with it, right?
Yeah. As soon as it start going on lately, now instead of racism, it's like, oh, did you get the vaccine? You're like, oh, here we fucking go now. Like, we're stuck in this car together. Like, but there's a fella who was telling me he got a dog during the pandemic because he was off. He was one of the people who shouldn't be working or whatever. And he's like, it was named some like fancy Hollywood name. He was like, it was called Autumn. And he was like, oh yeah, me for calling him Autumn. So he like had to rename him something. So he's like, I renamed him Judo. And he's like, I think it's Japanese for arsehole. It's like, what? Like, yeah. I don't know if we have to fact check that. I don't know if that's correct.
But there's next to no species like him on the planet, like, because no matter where you go, you won't, like, London cabbies can be good crack, all right, because they'll give you a right bit of chat, but it's not the same because it's through a window. You know, you feel like you're talking, you know, it's literally next door, you're talking to somebody. But like my naivety, the first time I went to America, I got out and the boys couldn't meet me at the airport because they were all illegal, like, and they'd be picked up. So I went with an address. I figured, I kind of looked at the map and went, it's not that far to go. But I found myself sitting in the front with the taxi driver. and he was a guy, he was a Cameroonian guy. He'd only just landed himself, the fucker. He'd just gotten a job faster than I did. But he was kind of going, And then I copped the big plastic shield behind us, like, and it's too awkward now. It's, you know.
You were there. You were in the front. Yeah, what are we going to do? Clench your little hole.
Yeah. So there was, but the bants was not the same. Needless to say, the crack was not the same.
They're probably super professional. I know. But actually, do you know, is it illegal to get food delivered to a hotel?
No.
I don't know if it is.
Why would it be illegal?
I wasn't sure. I was Googling it up. I was like, is it illegal? And I was getting kind of mixed reviews online. I was like, I don't know. But I really wanted Chinese the other night. Do you know what I mean? So I ordered Chinese. And I went down the front as if I was going to do some kind of a drug deal. You know, I emptied a bag and all, like, brought it down with me. God forbid, like, I didn't want to even see that I had the takeaway bag, like. So, like, but I was, if anything, I was probably just drawing more attention to myself. Do you know what I mean? Just sketchily kind of hanging out around the door. And I brought up the Chinese then, but sure, there's no knife and fork here. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do now? Like, so do you know them little, do you know the little sticks they give you for the coffee? I had to kind of use 2 of them as a kind of a makeshift kind of a, what are they called? Chopsticks, which would have been fine if I'd used chopsticks before. But it was pretty grim. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I didn't know if it was illegal or not, so it's obviously not.
Nah. Listen, at this stage, Sinead, fucking nearly everything is kind of illegal. Like, just say you're fucking playing sports, it'd be grand. Like, just...
yeah, this spice bag is pivotal to the sports, yeah.
I love the notion, like, that you're down there standing all sketchy, like, and but you walk back in with no signs of a Chinese on you, but everybody's going...
Nah, I know. That's exactly what I was like. I was like, if anyone gets in the lift, like, I'm like, what's going on here? So I was whistling and everything. I was like walking.
In case they hear the Chinese.
Oh my God, yeah, it wasn't Rice Krispies, to be fair,
yeah.
That's just me though. I don't know. I stress myself out with just random things that aren't even things.
Well, you see, at least you think about it. Like, I don't. Yeah. I'm the opposite end of it. I'd go bulling in, like, I'd order bullets. Do you know, like, something ridiculous? Like, I go, what are you arresting me for? Like, do you know, like, at least you have the consideration to go, maybe this might be off, you know, maybe. No.
I thought grenades were legal. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know.
And that's where I would find myself.
I can sleep easy tonight.
Because you're up, and we'll talk about it later in the show, but to clarify to anybody, Sinead, she is an extremely high roller. She lives only exclusively in hotels, actually.
Yeah. That's what I do. It's a brand deal, yeah.
But you're up in Dublin at the minute filming your second series, aren't you?
I am. Sure, I don't only come up here now for a match or for work.
I love
or
that.
IKEA.
I love that. I'm sure there's an IKEA opening in Cork soon.
Is there?
There is.
out
in Little Island, apparently.
Jesus, that's even one less reason now.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and with our performance on Sunday, I wouldn't be sure if we'll be up again. Poor old Cork.
I think they had their All Ireland in the semi-final. In fairness to them,
we tried our best.
Do you know, like, when, like, young dogs get really excited and they run after everything? Like, I think that's kind of what happened. Cork, they're like, we're in the All Ireland final. We've never, and like Limerick are there. In the last 4 years, they've been there insane. 3 times. Like, yeah. So
Stone Logue was like, it was like playing hurling against Harry Potter.
Did he say that?
Yeah.
Stone Logue, he bothers me. I don't know why, but it's the use of the pen, like, and he's like, he leans way too like everybody from Cork has a Cork accent, but it's like Don Logue is putting it on. You're like, tone it down, Don Logue. Jesus Christ. So, like, what I'm saying, I can't, like, he's a good character for the game, but at the same time,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Jesus, I felt bad. The half the country were behind. Well, more than half the country, including everybody from Tipperary, I can guarantee you was fucking behind Cork. It was.
Everyone likes the underdog. Like we like to go for the underdog. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sure. Look.
Yeah.
What can you do?
What can you do? But you weren't one of the 40,000 that were there the other day, were you?
Well, I was like on my way up, so I was watching it on the train on my phone.
Oh, but you didn't go.
No.
Did you drink cans just for the sake of it? Just.
I thought the train would be great crack, but it wasn't. There was nobody. I feel like they must have all been up the night before or something. There was no real atmosphere.
They were definitely up. By all accounts, Dublin was hopping the night before. Like.
Yeah. I know. But then it was a disappointment. I was like, if the match was good, like I'd go out for the celebrations. But then it was like, oh, sad times.
Yeah, what do? You go out and just stand around? Although, I mean, just for alcohol consumption, all the same, like it would have been all right to do. But we the last time we ran into each other, we were actually in Limerick, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Flannery's, wasn't it?
It was Jerry Flannery's cocktail bar of all things you would imagine.
A nice venue, wasn't it?
It was a really nice venue. It was like, I don't know if they're going to do more in there or whatever, but it would be. And
do you remember I got heckled in the most Limerick way?
It was ridiculous. What did they say or didn't they say?
I was like, oh, so what else can I tell you about me? I was like, I'm single. And then somebody just shouted, "Yort!" From the back.
Those gang,
like, wow.
That gang of langers, like
And I was like, it was the most English heckle of all. Or English, Jesus.
It was Limerick. It was Limerick. It was a Limerick phrase. But in all fairness, they were behaving like English lads at a fucking stag in Brighton.
Yeah.
It was like nobody does what they were doing. It was like they read half a book on attending a comedy club and went, well, we're supposed to heckle, aren't we? Because I pulled the manager over and I said, listen, are you going to talk to them? Like, and he went, it's a bit awkward, wasn't it? That's awkward. That's your fucking job, man. Go down and fucking talk to him. That's because I launch into those cunts, like when I get down there, like, and you could see, he was like, no, I just couldn't help it. Like I was trying to avoid him at one stage and I went, fuck this. And I just turned into like.
Yeah, you went full ham on him. But I was like, it would have been a good story if we got together though, wouldn't it? How'd you meet? Well, he yelled "Yurt" from a distance.
Yeah. At what point, like, did you, like, obviously they're doing it for each other's entertainment, but at any point, like, that actually would have been the most neutralizing thing to ever do, for you to turn around and go, oh, hello. You want to leave your number up here afterwards? Because possibly the most unattractive thing you could do to somebody is shout at them just a word that doesn't actually really exist or mean anything, like, and go, you had me at you. Like,
yeah, I love the word gowl. I love that word.
Gowl.
I use that a lot.
I mean, I think Limerick, I don't know, Cork people use it nearly as much as Limerick, do they?
Yeah, I think so.
Because gowl, like, Limerick people would claim it for their own, but like, even I was using gowl in school, like everybody called each other, because you can just lean into that G so heavily. Like,
yeah, it's such a great word. Like,
it's a great word. It's a fucking great word. But like, because you, that evening it was, I knew you were doing stand-up and I'd heard your name or whatever before, but I'd never properly come across you. But you were into it, like. Had you, like, were you, like, and you, by all accounts, then you were telling me you weren't doing stand-up that long. But, like, you came across as somebody who was at it 3 or 4 or 5 years at that stage.
Oh, thanks.
Are you from a very talky family, or are you an actor? Or wait, like, something has to be, or were you a middle child like me?
No, I only have one brother, Eamon. So he's 2 years younger than me. He's an electrician. We're total opposites, like, and he always knew, like, he wanted to be an electrician. Like, he was like, I'm not going to college. Like, this is what I want to do.
Genius, young fella.
Yeah.
Genius. Making a fortune, sure.
Absolutely. Like, he definitely did the right thing.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I never knew what I wanted to do. Not a clue. So I got into stand-up kind of accidentally, really. But yeah, I don't know. I think I do mask probably my nerves quite well.
Yeah.
I think that's probably a skill. That's a skill I've always had. I don't know how. But like,
a lot of it for me was in your stance. You had a very calm stance. Normally people that are masking their nerves with their stance, they do an awful lot of fucking old pacing back and forth. And you're going, girl or fella, you're absolutely showing off your nerves. Stop pacing. Whereas you kind of have this, all right, but you have this,
all right.
Like you're on pen and you're getting the fucking outside hillbillies, like, just go All right.
Now that you say Hillbillies, that's where my comedy career began.
Go on.
In Hillbillies, eating a taco fries.
You went into Hillbillies and ordered a taco fries.
Yeah, of all the things. Had it?
Yeah, I have, but like at the same time, I wouldn't be like in Hillbillies. I mean, obviously you'd gone through the full repertoire of all the chicken.
Probably like breast in the bun and all that would probably be more popular. It's true, but taco fries for me would be my thing. Like,
cheese. No, I just want to know because now I'm fucking hungry. Cheese and would you go for a sprinkle of cheese?
Oh, everything, yeah.
Oh, good.
Cheese.
Yeah. Great. Yeah.
But yeah, it was my dad had seen. I'd only done 2 stand-up gigs. My dad's seen in the paper this Ray Darcy competition looking for new stand-up. So he said to me anyway, he was like, "You should enter that there." I was like, "Dad, I've done 2 gigs. Like, what are you talking about?" Like, if you looked up "new" in the dictionary, there'd be a photo of me inside there, like, you know.
Shiny, out of the box. Yeah.
But like at that point, I'd taken a year out, so I did a master's in social work, and at the end of it, I was like, "Nah, I'm not doing that." So that went down very well with the family. They were like, "What do you mean? You did a 2-year master's?" Like, I was like, "No, I don't know." And actually, maybe that's where I learned the kind of the demeanor as well, because as part of the master's, they did this thing where you were recorded doing like an interview, and you had to see, did you do anything annoying? Because they were like, you know, if you were like messing with your head or anything like that, like it'd be kind of distracting. Like that was one of the modules. So maybe that's kind of maybe where I got my masking of emotions thing.
Yeah. But that's interesting because you become self-aware.
Yeah.
You know, that's almost just down near Shakespearean and how they teach you in acting and all the rest of it, like, is to be very aware. And are you a pain in the hole by the things you do? Like, because obviously in social work, you don't want to send somebody who's in savage form over the edge, like, because you keep on picking their nose or something, like, you know.
Literally, yeah. We're taking the kids. Yeah. So I think, yeah, probably I was training for a stand-up without really realizing it, probably. You know, it wasn't really planned. But anyway, we were in Hillbillies, and he was after telling me about that competition. He was like, "Did you send in the clip of that?" So he'd recorded my second stand-up gig. So you only need 3 minutes, 3-minute clip.
Where was your first stand-up gig?
The first one was in Wonky Donkey.
Oh right, yeah, Ross had Wonky Donkey. Yeah. Yes, yeah.
So I was opening up for the Hardy Bucks. 3 bucks left.
Yes,
Cowboy and French Toast.
Salmon.
So they were doing Cork. So I was opening up for them. I'd met them at a random mental health event where I was doing public speaking.
Jeez, I'll tell you one thing. If we were backing up a truck right now, Sinead, we'd have gone through a fucking forest. We're like, so...
Nothing makes sense.
You're like, what? Hold on. So that was just to get to the second gig, but we went to the first and then we'll open for the 3 bucks left. You know the way French Toast, and to be fair, anybody listening to this podcast knows, because French Toast is like 2 episodes ago and Cowboy was like 5 episodes ago, so that's great. But and then you were opening up for the boys, but you met them at a mental health
seminar. So they were doing the MCing for that. So I met them. This was during the year out, so I was just doing random things. So I kind of said to them, I was like, "Come here, I'm thinking about getting into stand-up. Like, do you have any advice?" And they were like, "Look, next time we're in Cork, like, we'll give you a call." I was like, "Oh yeah, like I'd never hear from these boys again. Like, do you know what I mean? They're just being nice." And then they rang me up in like the September and were like, "Yeah, we're going to be in Cork there in October. Like, how are you fixed?" I was like, "Oh God, I kind of have to do it now." Like,
yeah, because surely like this shit hits the bed at that stage. You're like, oh Jesus, I was just saying it. Now it's actually, because you can't back that.
Still so naive though. Like I'd never been to I'd been to like see people like Des Bishop and like the Everyman. Do you know what I mean? But I'd never been to open mic, or like I had no clue really like about how it works.
Yeah, yeah.
So I rocked up to this professional comedy club. Do you know what I mean? For my first gig, I'd like a couple of notes and a bit of paper. Actually, I went way over. I ended up doing 20 minutes because I'd put too much down, like. And I remember they were like flashing me, not in a sexual way, but flashing me with the light, you know, to tell me to get off.
For anybody wondering, that's a very normal thing to see. If you've gone way fucking over, there's somebody down the back flashing the light on their phone, going, "Get off, will you?"
So like I seen it the first time, and like I knew, like, but I was like, I didn't really know how to like stop.
Yeah, of course.
You know,
it's your first ever gig. There's people 10 years in don't know how to shut up, like, and get off stage.
Like the light was getting more and more aggressive. Do you know what I mean? Like I was sweating. I was like, oh god, I gotta get off. Anyway, I finished it. But like we laugh about it now, like. But yeah. So that was my first gig. So thankfully that went fairly well. It wasn't amazing. I would say like 65% of it was good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I guarantee you, Sinead, you'll look back at that in a year and go, what was I on about? Like, do you know? Because you'll be 20 times sharper. You know, that kind of way. Like even if the context was good, you're like, the fucking and Anne and fucking arsing around the houses I was doing to try and get to a point, like. But
yeah, exactly.
But that's always good. I thankfully I a very similar experience, very similar, where I had no clue what I was signing myself up for. But about 60% of it was goodish. It was good enough that, and to be fair, I was very lucky. I was on with some unbelievably dire comedians, so It was
That's the trick to getting compliments, isn't it? As well, if you look terrible as well, like majority of the time, then the one time you get dressed up, people are like, "Oh my god, you're amazing!" You're like, "Thanks so much. I showered." yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it much actually. People compliment stuff behind me, like you did. You went, "Nice background, Tom."
Yeah, I love the mullet. The mullet is all in fashion as well.
I didn't want it to be fashionable, Sinead. I did this messin. My wife dared me right at the beginning of lockdown. It was like, well, do you want to cut my hair? Because she's cut my hair a few times for the crack. Because really, I don't care much about it. She went, let's cut in a mullet this time. And okay, for the crack, let's do it. And then it just and then all of a sudden I start finding out a mullet has actually become popular. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, it's proper a thing.
But I actually have, like, I talked about getting rid of it. And I got like 40 messages from patrons and listeners going, don't you get rid of it. Like they're living vicariously through my mullet in their office jobs, but they're not allowed to have a mullet. So it's like, all right, okay.
I love it as well. Yeah.
Let's keep it
really
going.
Suits you, like, because you're a wild fella, like, do you know what I mean? You're a madman. Like, there's a bear there behind you over your head.
Yeah.
Like, it suits you well.
I didn't factor it in. It's just kind of naturally arrived, if you know what I mean. It was like, oh, well, yeah. But again, because I gave the thumbs up and my wife thought it was a good idea. So yeah, I suppose you're right. Yeah, the fitting. It'd be weird if you put it on somebody who, Clarence, who was like, head of accounting in a software company. It'd be, a bit of an odd one. Yeah. So I'm getting in your way. So you do the first gig goes well. Oh, and always
this is classic me trying to tell a story. Like there's about 7 other stories.
That's grand.
So I did that one. So yeah, thankfully it went all right. And then Cornelius was there that night, so he runs the Cocoa Club.
Yeah.
So Cornelius Patrick Sullivan, he uses his full name. So he gave me the second gig. So then my parents went to that one, and my dad recorded it, whatever. So then all you needed was a 3-minute clip to like enter this competition. So I had that. So anyway, we're in Hillbillies, and he's like, "Did you throw in that entry?" Like, and I was like, "Oh shit, actually, I fucking forgot." Like, and I was like, "Oh god," we looked up like online, like when was the closing date, and it was that day at midnight. We were like, "Oh my god!" So as soon as I went home, then I entered that. So if it wasn't for taco fries and Hillbillies, I wouldn't have entered it on time, and I wouldn't be doing comedy. Like, so it's pretty crazy.
So God bless Hillbillies. I mean, you're going to now, obviously. I mean, clearly. This has been a poking for sponsorship, which there are worse.
Yeah, if I don't get a sponsorship, there
are worse sponsors you could get, to be fair, than Hillbillies.
That'd be an unreal one.
Jesus Christ!
But that'd be the dream.
Like I've often said at Cork, you're spoiled rotten with the quality of grub down there. Even when you want fast food, there's gourmet fast food. Like
it's good stuff. Yeah, my cousin is up in Dublin. She was saying she struggles to get like a good Chinese in Dublin. I don't know if that's true, but.
It's
true. What I had the other night was all right, but yeah.
I'd say but the struggle you went through to actually physically eat it, Sinead, in all fairness, you were like literally a starving person with 2 knitting needles trying to poke it into your mouth, like going, "This might be the best Chinese I've ever had." You had to
eating like 1 grain of rice at a time, like
So you send it. So you send it in. Journey. And what happens? Obviously, you went because you told me. I know you won it, didn't you? But how did it come about? Because
I sent it in, and then I kind of forgot about it. Like I'd say about a month went by, and I heard nothing. And I was like, I didn't get in. Like, do you know what I mean? And I wasn't really expecting it, so that's fine. So I was actually supposed to be moving to Australia. So
okay, right. Let's throw a bit of spice in here to make the story really interesting, Tom.
I was supposed to be immigrating to Australia, so like I'd taken the year out or whatever, and I was like, I knew I didn't want to do social work, so I was like, I'm just gonna head off to Australia.
Yeah.
Figure something out over there. So it was proper going to go into USIT, get the flights and all that, and starting the visa and stuff. And I got an email that evening saying that I'd gone into the Munster Heats. So I was like, oh. So I said it to my two friends, and they were like, look, maybe hold off on the tickets. I was like, chance of me winning now are very slim, but they were like, just hold off until you do that.
Fair play
like,
to them now.
Like you would know like who you'd meet or whatever. I was like, all right. So I did that. Then I ended up winning that, which was crazy.
Where was the Munster Heat then?
That was in City Limits.
Great, right.
So Carl Spain was the MC that night, so it was the first time meeting him.
Of course it was.
So
Spain.
funny.
Classic.
What a legend. Yeah.
He's just been any competition that's ever been put on ever. We'll get Carl Spain. It's fine.
Yeah. He works a room. So I remember he was like talking to us all beforehand. So I actually had double the experience by the time that came around. So I'd done 4 gigs.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So he was asking like all of us like a little bit about like ourselves, and I was like, oh yeah, I was like, this is my 5th gig now. And he was like, sorry, what? I was like, my 5th gig, and he was just like, good luck with that, like, you know. So yeah, it's funny looking back at now, we're good friends now, me and Carl. But yeah, little do we think.
But in fairness, you'll know Carl likes you if he starts just giving you shit like that, like, oh, still a kid, you know.
Yeah, he was like, what's going on here, like. So
and who else was in the Munster final with you? So the Munster final, I love that. Like you were Cork, and you were obviously playing Limerick or whoever you were playing in the Munster final. Let's make this sports.
So like I remember it was so crazy. I was like, what is happening here? Like saw Ray Darcy, saw Fred Cook was there, I think Julie J was there too. Barry Murphy, Darren Smith, Kite Entertainment. They were like all the judges. And then sure, I didn't know anyone in comedy, do you know what I mean? And they were looking at me being like, who the hell is this? Like all the people I was up against. They were like where does she have to come from? Because it's such a small world. Like I didn't realize, do you know what I mean? And so there was what's his name? Roger Sullivan.
Oh yeah, from Cork, yeah.
And what's the man, Chris, he runs the Collins.
Yes, I know the lads. The 2 lads I know the 2 lads are on about because they had a smashing room out in the White Horse in Ballincollig, and it's unfortunately gone. But it was the most gorgeous room upstairs in the White Horse in Ballincollig. I know the 2 lads you're on about. All right, two nice chaps. Yeah.
Very nice. They're so nice. There's a girl from Kerry. There's a fella from Kerry as well. So bad I can't remember their names. Sure, I've met no one.
This is classic. This is classic championship stuff. You're like, listen. All I know is there was a whole pile of losers and this guy. That's all I'm saying.
You sound like such an asshole.
Yeah,
I can't remember names at all. But like I've never met them again. You see.
Yeah, of course. No, I'm absolutely painting you as a pure bollocks here. Like, it's great. It's great.
This is great.
We'll round it up at the end and say how sound you are and everything else.
It's a prick.
That's your new show.
Oh my god! But it was such a blur. Like the whole thing, I was like, "What is happening?" Do you know what I mean? Like my family were there. They were looking at me, being like, "What's going on here?" My friend, she was working till like whatever. She was doing night shift. She was like, "I'll try to get there like in time or whatever to see it." And there was no sign of her anyway. And I was waiting to go on. And then I just seen her coming in the door. I was like, there she is. So like I wasn't nervous or nothing because I was like, sure, I have absolutely nothing to lose here. Do you know what I mean? Who am I? Coming in.
That's a great place to be. Yeah.
So if anything, the nerves only started afterwards. Do you know what I mean? Because suddenly there was like a bit of an expectation. Then I was like, oh shit, like I'm still a complete newbie to this. Yeah, I don't know. I was cool as a breeze that night. So
you wiped the floor with everybody there. You smashed their faces into the carpet, and you're through.
Erased their names.
Erase their names. You're all dirt to me. I'll remember Spain because I'll probably have to meet you again. Barry Murphy, yeah, probably. Anyway, let's get to the final. Come on. So final.
I sound so mean.
Yeah,
but I've never met those people. I'm sorry. They were sound.
They mean nothing to you. It's okay, Sinead. It's fine. And you get to the final then. So was the final on telly? Am I mistaken? It was, wasn't it? Yes.
Live TV. I mean, what the hell was that like?
Yeah.
There's there was a girl called Audrey was looking after us, you know, behind the scenes. And like I am a fairly laid back person. Like I wouldn't get nervous easy, but like I'm telling you, the nerves I felt that night were unbelievable. Like she actually gave me a hug and everything at one point. Like she was like,
what's her?
I must have just looked a state like.
I think I know the Audrey you're on about. Yeah, and she's 100%. Yeah, I think I know.
Sound.
Yeah. And who did you wipe the floor with that night? Or can you remember? Doesn't matter.
I don't remember.
They're dead to you.
Michael Rice.
Oh, Mike Rice. Yeah. Okay.
Justine Stafford.
Very good.
This is so bad. There's another girl from England. What's her name? I'm so bad at names.
It's all right, Sinead. She's English.
Stop, you're making me look so bad.
She's English. It's fine. So, I mean, we all, you know, we know what way politically Sinead lies at the moment.
Oh my God, I'm such a prick. I'm just shocking at names.
No, to be fair, the two people that which is ironic, is the two people that Sinead can remember is Justine, who's gone on to do very well for herself, and Mike, who's flying it for himself over in Europe. And
he is flying it. So,
you know, just goes to show Sinead only has regard for people that have actually, you know, something
Should
to offer.
you have Googled this? That's not your job. Do you have any research done there, Tom?
Come here. I did. There was rakes of them competitions when I was coming up right at the beginning. For some reason, it was rakes of them. Like, so I couldn't fucking tell you hardly anybody went. Like, I won a couple of them, but Jesus Christ, you couldn't, because you have to be really self-involved in the night, because it's actually the nerves are taking over and stuff. Like, but
I was lucky to remember my own name. To be honest, I'm so nervous so badly.
Because
I remembered my set kind of, so that was my aim.
Tell me, what was it like doing it to the Ray Darcy audience? Because that must be fucking tough, was it? Live.
Yeah, because sure, those audiences, they don't choose to be there. You know, they just put in like that they want to be, and I think it's like a luck of the draw, like who's there, whatever.
Because there's a free bar in the green room in RT, and that's why people show up. Like
yeah.
Oh my good Lord, that would have been a tough gig. In all fairness, like we did one before, all right, and it was filmed in the Sugar Club. It was an All Ireland competition, like, and a few of us got to the final and stuff. But no, it was just happened to be filmed really badly. But it was weird. They didn't mic up any of the audience, and the audience were actually, what was killer, they were really good, but they didn't mic them. So,
oh no,
yeah, it literally looked, and their cutaways. I remember they cut away to a friend of mine who was there a different night, who wasn't there the night I was there. So they just used random footage of people, and it was the one where he was just looking away. It was like, why would you use? So it can go either, but at least they had the idea of not to do it live in front of it, because I've done the warm up for a few of them shows, and those people they don't want to. Oh God, they don't want to see happiness like.
Yeah,
and I think they're kind of weirded out too by the big room and the lights, and there's cameras on them. They're weirded out by the whole thing.
It's a lot for everybody. Yeah, we're all trying to get our bearings. So yeah, and we were in this kind of a box thing. But I remember, like, I was supposed to be on second, and then they put me on first last minute. But I was like, this is probably a good thing, because I just need to get out there. You know, just need to get, because at that state I was in such a state. I was like, I just need to get out there. But it was grand
in that you won it, like, so.
I guess.
No, it's totally, that was grand, Tom. You know, in the end, it didn't really bother me that much. I totally won it and get smushed, everybody. It's fine.
Like, that was my seventh. That was my seventh gig then. So
I
was
love
like,
that.
Mother of God. Then I've kind of like plunged into the comedy world. You know, I'm like, what's going on here? Yeah, crazy. But sure, then I was only doing it about 6 months, or then we were in lockdown, like, so.
Yeah, I mean, what was your go-to move then with lockdown? Because obviously you were only getting going, so you were like, you didn't even fully understand what probably being up and flying at 5 nights a week was going to be. But what was the move then? Because, you know, did your show, like, because you won, and in that, didn't they give you like a...
So I won. I then had to sit down with my friends, be like, what's the story? Should I go to Australia? Well, I do. They were like, you have to stay, like, do you know what I mean? This is some opportunity. I was like, I have to give it a go. Like, they're like, look, if you're going to stay, like, at least make it worthwhile. So thankfully it's worked out fairly all right. So I got a pilot. That was part of the prize.
That's that's better than any money. That is it's a great prize.
Yeah. But it was like, you can make it, like they'll read it, but they might not make it, you know.
Okay.
So it wasn't like guaranteed. So I was
classic
like,
RTE.
Grand. Yeah. So I wrote it in the first lockdown. So something to do. How bad? Did that, whatever, sent it off. So thankfully they liked it. They were like, yeah, we'll make it. It's like sound. So there were 4 5-minute episodes.
Because when I watched it, I was because do you know you're just about how I launched into it and I was like, what am I watching? Is that's Sinead's voice over everybody, isn't it? Because I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
And then I had to back up the track and go, oh, now I know what I'm watching. Oh, now I know what I'm. Because at first I'm going, is that somebody else? It's definitely not his voice, but is it so? Why did? Oh, fucking wait. This is Sinead is reading her diary. Oh, for the love of Christ almighty.
Yeah.
Yes,
it's
right.
It's a lip sync series.
No.
Which is cool, like, because it makes things that aren't funny as well. Do you know what I mean? It's like my voice coming out of an old man is hilarious, you know?
Was that how you wrote it?
So the plan was that I would actually be doing stand-up and like telling the stories, and then it would cut to like me acting it out with people.
Yeah.
But then, of course, pandemic happened, so that we changed then for a diary. But it works out well. I think it works good, like writing in the diary, so you hear what I'm writing.
I think, because I thought that at first, this is almost like a stand-up thing. But then I thought you'd never planned on doing the stand-up. And I think it was a smart move. In a way, it was a lucky move, because for a lot of people, to watch you doing stand-up is not translatable for them. They're going, well, I have no concept of what she's doing right now, so we'll just wait till the next bit until she explains it. Because they can't put themselves possibly in your shoes, but they can with a diary sitting on a bench. You know, that kind of way.
Yeah, that's true.
It would be, it's a stretch for a lot of people, because you can't turn around and go, do you know when you're up here trying to remember your jokes? People go, no, I have no idea what that means.
I can't relate to that in the slightest.
I have to be honest there, Sinead. Nah, never come across that situation in my life, and never want to. Because for most people, I
know there's something gone very wrong for all of us that we feel the need to even get up on the stage.
Yeah.
Something not right with us.
It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Because with the amount of good gigs are great, but you'll have your dire gigs. And to come back and want to do it after that again, like, if you don't have a mental condition, you'll get a mental condition from it. Like, do you know that kind of...
Like the whole concept, it makes no sense because there's so much isolation in it. Do you know what I mean? That like you write it yourself, you practice it yourself, and then with nobody having heard it, you get up in front of a room full of strangers and do it. Like it just makes no sense.
No, you're 100% right. Yeah. And I've tried to sit down and write with other lads, and there was great notions. There was a gang of us all coming on at the same time, and we're like, let's have a writer's room and stuff, and it never panned out, because you're like, we've all so many different processes. Like when it comes to it, like it becomes suddenly work if you're on. And we did it for a good while, like, and we got, we wrote some good stuff, and it was probably what it was very good for was actually a form in a group was very good for my very first hour show that I did in the Dublin Fringe and then took to Edinburgh, because we all had to do it for each other, and we all rehearsed like it was an act, like we were actors.
Yeah,
so
cool.
I had probably done 20 times that hour, and we all had seen each other's 20 hours. And in fairness, we were able to tweak each other's just enough. Like none of us were that experienced. Like, but by the time it hit the stage, then there was no remembering it. It was like, well, here we go.
You were ready to go.
Yeah. So, which for you? So, had you an acting background then as well?
No, nothing professional at all. In the year out, I joined my local drama group
for the crack
down the hall. Yeah, auditioned for a role, so I got a tiny role of a girl who was grieving the death of her father. So it sounds,
I'll laugh a minute, no doubt.
It sounds very tragic, but it's one of these Irish plays that like he dies in a cabbage plot, right? Falls down dead, very sad.
Lovely.
And then by the end of it, I come in and I'm like, he wasn't dead at all. He was just in a deep sleep. So
I love that's how they fucking wrapped it up. They went, he wasn't dead at all. He was just sleeping.
Yeah. So that was that one. So that was my acting, like.
'Twas a role, I suppose.
It was a role. So, but it was a great crack. Like I loved the whole experience of it. But I guess stand-up's so different, like, because one thing I found was that it was slightly stressful in a plane that if the other person doesn't remember their line, or if you forget your line, everyone's a bit thrown, you know? Like, I mean, I only had like 5 lines, so if I forgot it, it would have been pretty bad. But like, you do really depend on the other people. Like, you have to, it's so different. Like, at least if you kind of messed up yourself on stage, like, nobody's going to know.
Yeah. But the thing I found from theatre work was it really does help. It helps in both directions. So I would do the pro panto in Limerick every year for the University Concert Hall. And now they didn't bring me on because I could sing or dance. I can do neither, but they would bring me on purely to be me, basically. So I'd always seem to play a part of idiot authority, if you know what I mean, the stupid cop or whatever. Like, but it didn't really. It was literally just Tom with a name. But what I would do is, if things went a small bit awry, you'd see the real actors, because they'd bring people who had been in RADA, like proper fucking actors, like, you know, who really minded themselves. They minded their skin and their breath. You know, they'd be breathing these fucking things in the evening and everything. But when things go awry, you could see their eye twitching, going, what? And because of stand-up, you're like, era, big red, and you just But then flip it back the other way, the discipline of doing that for 30 days, twice a day, and actually rehearsing for 2 weeks solid, and every word had to be on. By the time you find yourself go back to stand up, you're like, oh, Jesus, right. Need to pull up my socks here. This arsing about with wasted words in between lines that aren't needed at all. Like, you know, where you're just literally saying the word like too often, or you're saying or They absolutely do. And I'd say, but especially when you rotate that back to stand up now again, after doing, you know, seriously Sinead, I'd say the discipline of it, because you have to be disciplined, surely. Like, you know, they're not just going, off you go, look, you know.
Yeah, it's true. I know. And I wrote it then as well, which is totally different, like writing a script.
Brilliant.
So like, oh yeah.
And who treated it for you then, or who helped you?
How to write a script onto YouTube. Like, literally didn't have a clue. I'd say the first one, it was the girls who wrote the Aisling book.
Oh yes.
You know,
yeah.
And Sarah Blaine.
Brilliant. Yeah, because it's kind of awkwardy, isn't it? Yeah.
It's me. It's me, but a more exaggerated version of me. So, like, you know, for comedy purposes. But yeah, it more or less is me. I just have a ridiculous life. Ridiculous things happen to me, like, you know.
Yeah,
I don't have to try.
Case in point, the last 40 minutes of how you just seem to meander into comedy and end up with your own TV show. Like, I guarantee you, the comedians hate you right now. Like, there's...
I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah, everybody on those lineups that you absolutely rinsed when you were doing those, you know, those competitions. You're like, well, you got it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
But I'm just a goal, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I never thought it would lead to anything. Do you know what I mean? Anything I did. But I think maybe, like, it helped me. I don't know. I kind of probably have my own style in that I was never in comedy clubs. So maybe, I don't know.
No, but
I don't have a clue.
It sounds like the perfect storm too at the same time. Like, in that, you know, they probably didn't know they were looking for a seriously Sinead. Do you know that kind of way? Like, and you just land, like, you ended up winning the competition. It wasn't like they were going, what we'll do is we'll find a tall woman from Cork. You know, there's no way they went looking for that, but it was the perfect storm. And you could have just shit the bed too, also, and capitulated and had nothing for them. Do you know, and go,
oh yeah.
Or like, you know, are you not going to write it for me? Like, you know, you could have been that person, but you didn't. You went, fine, let's give it a go. So there's, and also, you know, so
naive, like, but I think I'm someone who I'll give anything a lash. Do you know, that kind of way.
Clearly, like, but I mean,
not one bit qualified for anything.
Wait, but you finished your degree and went on and did a master's and went, Era, shut that. You know? So you gave that a 5-6 year lash. You know?
Yeah. I did do 6 years of college. I know. My dad thought he was going to have to get the army, get me out of the place. We were going to leave, like.
Where did you go? UCC?
UCC, yeah.
Of course, pure Cork.
Of course, yeah. Hogwarts.
So why would you go anywhere else? Like,
why would you go anywhere else?
I know, my two sisters are absolute diehard UCC. Like, yeah.
Loved it.
Well, I never asked, what part of Cork are you from?
Near Blarney.
Oh, yeah, kind of. Yes. Yeah, I know Blarney well.
Blarney son.
Every mason, every blocklayer or mason I worked with is either living in Gran or Blarney, one or the other. Because I worked with It was construction I worked in before I went into comedy, because it was flying it down at Cork. It was great. We were all making a fortune at the time, but then
the good times. I feel like I never properly experienced the good times. I've known nothing but misery.
You were just shy of it, Sinead. Oh Jesus, you only missed the skiing holidays by a fucking couple of months. I swear to God, you only just missed them. They were great. Great.
I was like, I didn't get any Celtic Tiger. Like, it's an absolute disaster. I don't know.
I never. Jesus, I'm so sad. I have considered, because you're like, in fairness, you just missed it. Shit. Like, great times. We were putting jacuzzis in our houses and everything. It was great. Like, we had no business doing it, mind, because we're Irish and we shouldn't be doing those things. Like, but at the same time,
we're not built for it. Yeah, I'm sure we gave it a go.
We gave. So Australia, then, look, girls, the girls were gone.
So and I mean, it was a kind of a, like, sure, of course they were going still. Do you know what I mean? They're my two best friends.
Shit.
So it was actually quite a decision. Do you know what I mean? Because we were all geared up for this big adventure together, like, and sure, at that point as well, like, it wasn't guaranteed they were going to make anything. So, but I was like, sure, look, worst case scenario, they're like, nah, I'll just head out then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just head out later, like, and so it just worked out well, like, that they made that. And then, sure, of course, the day the series came out the 31st. 31st of what month is Halloween?
October.
So as if things weren't scary enough, like, came out that day. But on that same day, I was off to Dublin to do the dress rehearsal for the Den. So it was like one thing kind of led into another. Just crazy. The Den was insane. Like, I still pinch myself around, like, that even happened.
So you got to host the Den?
Well, I wouldn't call it hosting. I was there. I was there. Like, to be fair to Ray Darcy, I had a great time for him. He was so nice to me the whole time. Like, again, strolling in, do you know what I mean, for the Den, like, live TV. And Joe, there's a big long corridor on RT.
Yeah.
And so I walked in there not knowing what was going to happen. And he was down the very opposite end of the hallway. And he was like, oh, Sinead Quinlan, like, down the hall or whatever.
Brilliant.
Like, hey, how are things? Good. They're so sound. Johnny, the boys, Dustin, Zig and Zag, so nice. But again, so naive. Like, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. Like, I had that one experience of live TV for the competition.
Yeah.
But, like, this was totally different. Do you know what I mean?
How did you keep it together? Like, the giddiness of just being on the Den as well, like, during the whole, because, like, this is the actual Den.
They're my heroes. Like,
yeah,
they're everyone's heroes.
Jesus.
The only person I was playing it cool the whole time. The only person I lost my cool for was when I saw Zuppy.
Stop.
I love Zuppy. Like, saw him and I was like, oh my God, Zuppy. Like, lost it for him. But yeah, everyone else I was kind of masking it. Do you know what I mean? I was losing my shit, but I was like, this is fine. This is totally normal. This is okay.
Do you find yourself for the crack leaning heavily into the Cork accent just to create a point of difference, like, just in a situation like that?
Yeah, I don't want to do it on purpose, but it just kind of happens.
Yeah.
I don't know. It gets stronger. Like, I don't know what it is.
It's like John Logue. Like,
yeah, I don't know. Is it like a defense mechanism of sorts? I just really don't know.
I'm going to let people, the listeners here, anybody Cork people actually don't sound like that at all. So when you're down there, they're very, very flat accents. It's just when they leave the county bounds or there's anybody around.
So many different types.
There actually is.
They're pretty posh.
Crosshaven, yeah, that would be C4. Yeah, because I lived out in Rochestown, kind of that direction, all right. Like, and they weren't just, they sell Murphy's above the bar, and you're like, where the fuck are you from? Like, because all the lads I hung out with.
Song The Langer. Remember that one?
Oh, I do.
Weird Natural Gas.
Yeah.
Great song.
Yeah.
Certainly not down in Crosshaven. You know, there's so many different accents. Like,
I do, because I was working down across Avon as well, and like the people you're meeting, you're like, oh right, so you're completely transferable to D4. You're wearing the same clothes, same kind of car. This is just right. So, but of course, yeah. And then one of the times I had to do a small job pricing a job out in, it was heading for West Cork, and it was in this bar. They were knocking this part of the bar, and they wanted to build. And I can honestly say I spoke to this man for an hour. Maybe 16, 17 actual words. And you're like, but you're only from up the road from friends of mine, like, who I can understand what is going on here. Like, Like
notions.
The vast, like, it was, no, but this guy was just so country. It was just, hello, you want to be cider? It was like, okay, I got cider. Yeah, I get it.
That sounds like all my uncles. Oh my God. But you need translator, like.
Yeah, because you're getting into the countryside around Blarney, then you're heading up to, like, I suppose White's Cross, set up that neck of the woods, and then
Dunamore.
Yeah, you're heading into, yeah.
Yeah, good for your family from Dunamore.
And what's the current process at the minute then? Like, are you up early in the morning now? Tomorrow morning we'll say call time, or what's the crack? How long will you be filming for as well? In other words, how long are you going to be out of Cork?
I know, dire straight there. I don't know if I bring enough inhalers, but I'll collapse one of the days. And yeah, we got a series 2, which is incredible.
Isn't it brilliant? That is class to hear, like.
They're going to be longer episodes, which is good.
Great.
Not sure how much longer until it's like proper edited and stuff, but longer. And there's a few familiar heads in it this time as well, which is exciting. The rest of their bodies are in it as well. So, I mean,
great, yeah. Oh, Jesus, I was just going. They're going to only use their heads, right?
Budget cuts. Can only afford them from the neck up. So I'm here for this week. Next week, a bit of the week after. So yeah, a couple of weeks.
Are they long days?
Yeah, full days. So yeah. So I'm up on my holidays. They were saying lousy, do you know what I mean? Because I was set in Cork last time, so they got to come down to me. Do you know what I mean? Cameramen and stuff.
Right.
This time I came up to them. They were like, "You didn't give us any holiday this time, Sinead, lousy."
Yeah. No hillbillies. Although I think there is a couple of hillbillies actually now in Dublin, I think.
Oh, is there?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. There definitely is.
There was one in Waterford.
Era. It wouldn't be the same. Sure, it wouldn't. Like, the taco fries wouldn't be the same anyway. Come here. I've taken up enough of your time because obviously there's Chinese or something to. I'm just saying that I don't think the food ordering is illegal. I'm just putting it out there.
For legal reasons, if it is, I definitely did not do that. Yeah.
So when can we expect? And tell me exactly how seriously Sinead is supposed to be said, because I'm saying it flat on purpose, right? So it's not.
There is a
statement or is it a question? All right. Okay.
There's a question mark in there, so it's kind of seriously Sinead or seriously. I don't know. Whatever way you want to say it, as long as you're saying it's all.
Because it's almost a perfect combo of two words, like, because for anybody reading it might mean vastly different things. Because Cork people have a very, it's not a sarcastic way of speaking, but they do use sarcastic phrases rather than actually saying what they mean. Because, like, I will, yeah. Like, that clearly means, I fucking, no way, not a hope am I doing it. But seriously, Sinead, like, that's...
something my parents would have said a lot over the years.
So you've done something or said something ridiculous.
Yeah, basically. Like, it's me being an awkward human being, hands in my arm, like, nothing runs smoothly, like, you know, like, even, I don't even know. Like I said, I just live life. Like, things just happen to me that wouldn't happen to other people. Like, I was supposed to be going on a date with this guy, and he texted me like the day before, and he was like, "Oh, sorry about this, but I actually had to get the NCT done, and the only day available is the day I was supposed to be meeting up with you." And I was like, "That's grand. Look, we'll reschedule." And he was like, "No, I was thinking maybe we could just like go to the NCT together." I was like, "What? On a first date?" I was like, "What kind of goal do you think I am?" Like, do you know what I mean? So off we went anyway.
Please tell me you did it.
I did, of course.
Of course.
It was a once in a lifetime opportunity, Tom.
Did it pass?
No, he failed.
Did he have another date afterwards?
No, like, it just was. He was a fine fella. It just wasn't really working out. Do you know what I mean? But I actually was able to use the fact that he failed the NCT to my advantage. So at the end, I was like, "Look, I'm going to get the bus there." And he was like, "Don't be silly. Like, I'll give you a lift home." I was like, "No, honestly, I wouldn't feel comfortable getting into a car. Let's just fail the NCT."
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Well, that has to factor into seriously, Sinead.
I know. So, yeah, like, it's not even hard. Like, literally, I just live my life, and stupid things happen to me. But they say, like, you attract what you put out into the world.
Oh, you do, yeah.
I'm just an absolute weirdo, and I just attract them. So that's just life. Yeah,
but
that's what it is.
It's you've kind of wrangled it into the perfect way. You're actually able to make TV shows now as a result of it. So in all fairness, like, you do kind of make yourself out to era. Like I was just rolling up along a wall there, and it was next thing somebody just offered me a show. Like Dave Moore from Today FM kind of said a similar thing. Just life just seemed to roll into the next. You go, yeah, but you'll work your whole off when you get offered those moments too. Like
Oh yeah, I suppose we're all kind of like that. Like anything you do, you want to do it to the best of your ability. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, I'm doing the best I can with the little experience I have. Just giving it a go. That's it.
That's class. And is Seriously Sinead 1 still available on the RT Player? Can that be watched?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And when can we expect Seriously Sinead 2? Is it going to be called Seriously Sinead 2?
I actually don't know.
You should do it this time with
those questions.
You should do it this time with an exclamation mark instead of a question mark. To be Seriously Sinead.
Yeah, things are getting serious. So I don't know. It'll be before the end of the year anyway, but I'm not sure when it's actually going to be out.
Perfect. I'll put the link to the RT Player anyway in the show notes. Sinead, you're absolute legend. I mean, you did steamroll all your competition, and I like that. I mean, you felt no pity nor care for any of them.
Yeah, you done no work. You didn't research a single thing.
I know. I have a list of them here in front of me. I know every one of them that were in those competitions. But look, it's fine. It's fine. They mean nothing to you now because you're after getting.
It was my fourth gig. Like
you're after getting 2
TV
my
shows. Own name. Here we are. Mad things happen.
Sinead with a fada over a Quinlan. Thanks a million for that. That was brilliant.
Thanks so much for having me.
Cheers.
And my thanks again to Sinead. Class. Like I said, the show notes, have a gander at it there. I'll put the RT Player link to Seriously Sinead Season 1. That was a great episode. Thanks a million again, Sinead. Do follow her everywhere. Very, very funny person. Now, as you may have heard at the very beginning, of course, we have a live show with the Patreons on the 5th. The evening of the 5th, we'll have a few old drinky winkies and sit around and have the banter over whatever stupid old subject we pick. So do jump over, become a patron. You'll get the video to today's podcast if you want to go back and have a listen / watch. Maybe you figure that'll do nice enough for a Saturday morning. Go on, become a patron. Simple as that, and you end up supporting the show. So simple. Pals. Thank you very much to everybody who tuned into the Tom and Jerry show. We have another one out on Monday. Very different to the last 2 we just did. So, it'll keep you on your toes. We put a fair bit of work into all of this, so you're going to end up enjoying it. We will, of course, have another bonus episode out the following Thursday. I'll be back with another Ramble Pod midweek next week, purely for the patrons. And, of course, another buckshot after that. So put it in the diary if you want to jump on, become a patron, or even for a month. You will actually end up getting the live show as well that we did for episode 200 with Colin Geddes and Gordon Rochford. The video of that will be put up there as well. So what more can I do, guys? What more can I do other than saying good luck, thanks, God bless, have a lovely weekend, and I'll talk to you again on Monday. Good luck.